My name's Dean Middleburgh, and I'm going to be talking to you about Facebook groups today. I would love to, cheers, Lana, thank you. I would love to go through this step by step, but unfortunately, that would take too much time. And luckily, the wizard, the setup wizard, is very easy to do yourself. And at the top, I've popped an article I wrote on this subject, and it has like more detail about how to go about setting it up. But it's pretty easy, and I'm going to give you. I mean, it's very easy to set up first and foremost, but all you need to do is some key points that I'll talk about, and the rest you can kind of change as you go. So yeah, don't worry about that. It's very easy to set up. And if you want to add me on Facebook, my name's Dean Middleburgh, as you know. Just I'm the only man in the world with my name, so you can add me, and I'll be more than happy to discuss it and walk you through it if you guys have any problems. All right. So yeah. By the way, I don't have any slides either because again, it's going to take too much time. So it's just my face and my ideas and my knowledge. So hopefully, in this session, I can share with you all the things I've experienced setting up two groups, the kind of things you might run into, and yeah, so I hope to give you as much value as I can, and hopefully you go away learning something. What I'm planning to do as well is I'm going to do like a 20-minute session of me talking, and then the last 10 minutes we do a Q&A. So if you've got any questions, I would say pop them in towards the end, and I'll run through and try and answer everything I can. So what I'm going to do now is just set a timer. So okay, all right, we're off. Okay, so the first thing I should do is talk about what a Facebook group is. A lot of people don't utilize this skill and this opportunity, if you like, because for me it's fantastic. Normally, most people they have their profile, their page, their personal page, and those that have businesses generally have a business page, and the two are kind of linked, right? So I go on your profile. I know a little bit about you because we're nosy by nature. We have a little peek, see what you're about, what do you do, what you kind of, who you are, and then there'll be a link to your page, your services, your products, what you're getting out into the world, and the two are kind of linked, right? Because I could search for your page, and I kind of think, oh, okay, they're a coach. Okay, this is what they do. This is what they provide. Now I'm going to check out, who they are. That's how it works, and vice versa. They can find out who you are and then think, right, okay, what products, what services are they offering? So normally you have that two-way street. Now, if you have a Facebook group, it basically gets more eyes on your work, right? And it gets you to a place where you can have so much more content, so much more engagement. And how I look at it is, as I said, most people have the two. If you kind of guys remember the fire triangle, and you have fuel, heat, and air, right? And that they kind of work with each other. So if you think of it as in the Facebook terms, you should have your profile, your page, and a Facebook. And a Facebook group is basically a community. And I think that after listening to me, you're going to see why I use the word community rather than group. I mean, Facebook call it the group. I kind of see it as more of a community, and that's how you guys should look at it. So if you can look at this in the mindset of community rather than group, and I'll explain why as we go on. So what is a Facebook group? The Facebook group is a safe space where you can interact around a given topic or subject and just share content. And what it does is it provides that kind of place, hopefully, where there's no judgment, there's none of this kind of, what are you doing, why are you doing this, why are you posting that? It's basically a place where you and the people that you want to be associated with gather. So yeah, content ideas are shared freely, and it gives people the platform and the opportunity to share their content or their ideas or their products or their services. And it doesn't have to be from a business point of view. It can be a project. So if I give you an example, the first group I created was called Share Short Stories, and it's still around and it's still going strong. And I come up with this idea around February time, so before before things, hit the fan, say. And I'll be honest, and I basically built this community to get more eyes on my short stories. And that was my mindset from the beginning. I just wanted more eyes on my work. So if I could create this community, people could come along, read my stuff for free, and I could get my name out there. More people to read my stuff. And in the beginning, it was a very lonely place, and it was just my friends, and there wasn't much engagement. And from my experience, that's the normal, right? In the beginning, once you have your group, it will be mostly your content. You're going to have to be the influencer. You're going to be the one that people look to, right? That's just the nature of it, and I'll come on to that later. But what I kind of realized later, that although it was benefiting me, I was also benefit. It was the community was benefiting others, and a lot of people I was giving value or hopefully giving my stories, and people were sharing theirs, and they were kind of thankful to me because they had free stories to read, which is not that common, and also that it gave them the opportunity to share their work, and it was kind of like this two-way street. And I realized that the more value you add to others, the more value you get back. And it doesn't have to be in a monetary sense. It can be in a fulfillment sense, or oh well, okay, someone's commented on my stuff and thanked me for giving them the opportunity to maybe get eyes on their work. So you should definitely see it as a place where you can really have an impact on others, and it's a fantastic opportunity for you to share your work and let others share theirs. In the sense of the community I built, it's definitely that, and I wanted it to be that. So if I could say that to you, that don't look at it as a group. In my mind, when I think of group, I think of a group of lads around the park sharing a can cider, or a band playing. That's a group, right? And to be fair, they have their own community. What I'm thinking of is a Facebook group. When it's done right, it's a place where people can come along. They feel safe. They feel that energized by the people around them, because this is your tribe, right? You're going to have a lot of friends out there, a lot of people that that not necessarily into the same things you are. This is the perfect opportunity to find people that you have a passion or an interest in relation to them. And it's a fantastic way to build community and to build followings and friendships ultimately, right? Because no matter if this is for business or this is a project or this is just for you, it's how you should remember it is that everyone, no matter what they're into, what they like, if it's business or not, they're in the relationship business, and this is how you should look at it. It's a great way to build relationships and to network. And when it's your group, when it's your community, you have far greater controls and you have far greater influence, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. I'm just going to. Perfect. Yeah. No, it is an important distinction. Definitely. That's how I see it, and I feel that it kind of empowers you when you think of it in that way, because the community has far more reach, has far more influence, and people feel a sense of belonging ultimately. So yeah, definitely. Okay. So why should you bother creating a Facebook group? As I said the story before, about my share short stories. I wanted eyes on my work, but I realised that it's far greater than that. And yeah, I mean, I can serve myself, and selfishly that was in the beginning, but I now realise that I can help so many others, and people can really benefit from that. And it's also that your audience, your tribe, your people, whatever your pack, however you want to describe it as, they're all under one roof, right? So you can go to them, for instance, ask a question, and you can really get the whole community involved. And you want to you want it to be a place of support, and you want to celebrate people's talents ultimately, right? So it's not only sharing your work, but it's commenting on other people's work or commenting on other people's services, and really feeding back and putting value back in. It's that cycle, and that's how you should look at it. But ultimately, everyone that is a part of this group wants to be there, right? And if they want to be there, they want content, but they're gonna probably supply content as well. And it's that really cool relationship. So it's almost like a virtual auditorium, and they're there, right? So if you want to promote something, if you want to talk about something, they're right in front of you. You haven't got to go searching or looking elsewhere. Your people are there. And this is why it's such an understated application or tool or platform, whatever you want to call it. So, like I said before, it's a place where others can connect. They can give you opinion, they can ask you questions. It's just a fantastic place. And when you see community in full flow and the engagement levels are high, you it's something that you want to check out. Something that you can go to and get a lot of value from. And yeah, it's just a fantastic place, right? If it's done right. It's done right. Another cool thing about it is there's a feature where when you sign up to the rules, you are asked to leave your email address. Oh, so, right, so it's got a feature where you can leave an email address. So what you do is you ask, look, guys, this is the group. If you want more information or a newsletter or whatever you want to do, leave your email address. And it's an email capture. So every time someone joins your group, they're leaving their email address. And that is invaluable. Emails are kind of forgotten nowadays, but people are starting to realize how important they are because, we all rely on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, but, I don't know what could happen tomorrow. If they were to go down, you've lost all their contacts. But with an email address, you've got them there forever, right? And you've got a direct line to them, with newsletters, with maybe sales or marketing tools or discounts, whatever your product is or service is. You've got a direct line, so that is absolutely. Another thing is it's free. It's absolutely free, and it literally takes you 10 minutes. You go through the wizards; it'll take you no time at all. And it's very user friendly, and yeah, you just follow the steps. Facebook do all the hard work for you, and literally take you 10 minutes, right? And I'll go through some of the key things that I think that you should. You probably asking me what are the benefits. The first one is authority. If you can imagine like a restaurant or a bar, and you've got the owner's name above the door, that just speaks volumes, right? And if there's a problem or there's a question, the people in the group will come to you first. They might put a post out, but I can probably say at least 10, 15 times I've been messaged directly asking me my opinion or some ideas or it's fantastic. So it really does work, and they see you as the conductor of the band, right? You are the authority. you know, what you say goes, because you're in charge. You have responsibility of those within the community, and yeah, ultimately, your voice carries weight because of that. You know, if you go into a restaurant and you meet the owners, it's almost like, oh, you're the owner. You know, so they obviously know what they're talking about. They're in this business. You know, they're the go-to. You know, they're going to have the information, the knowledge, and the experience because they know what they do and they do what they know. So that's also important. Linking onto authority is also credibility. And it's weird because I thought about this the other day. You don't have to show evidence of, right, I'm a writer, I'm this, I'm a life coach, because within the community, you've almost got this credibility grown for you. And as I said, it's your name above the top. You know, people will come to you for advice and ideas, and they will look to you differently to how they see the other members. It's just the way it is, you know? So that's important, and you build up this credibility without even having to do much. So that's also a pretty cool thing when you think about it. That most things you need qualifications, you need lots of experience, testimonials. With communities, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. And what the content you supply is part of your credibility. So the more content you supply, the more reach you get. It's also important, like I said before, to find your tribe and to find the people that you have a common ground with. And, you know, that's also a very important thing because especially if you're selling or you're supplying a service or a product, these people will be your target audience. You know, they're not going to be there if they're not interested or they don't really connect with you or align with your values. So ultimately, you find your own people. So that's also really cool. Another thing is that, you know, it's almost like your part, and those who are members have the exclusive nature of the club. And those that are outside of that, they probably want to know what's going on. So that's really cool. Another reason for those that are quite analytical is the data is stored and you can access who's posting what, who's posted the most, how much content, new members. You have an arsenal of knowledge and data, which you can just, on a click of a button, you can see graphs, you can see what time people are posting. You can even find out when is the most important, the most popular time to post. So that you can see, okay, if I post at 1 o'clock, I'm going to get more eyes on my work. So it's a fantastic tool. There's so many tools, and you know, I don't have the time to go through them all, but hopefully that article as well, I posted in the comments, will tie into that as well. And you're in control. You can have announcements, so you can shout what you're doing. You know, it appears on top as you enter the group. It appears there. So you know, if you really want to, if you're doing like a special sale, bang, it's there. You can't avoid it. It's right there, and you can do as many announcements as you want. And what else? Top of my head, yeah. There's also a feature where you can make a post and you can set a time when you want that post to appear. So it doesn't have to be in real time. So literally, you could make 10 posts and schedule them to appear every day for 10 days at a certain time that you see as the most popular, the most activity. So that's really cool. As I said before, asking for their email address, that goes into the rules. So bang, you get their email address. So you can talk to these people directly, you know. And more times than not, they're going to add you as a friend anyway. So I've got 1 minute left, so I'm going to go through the key points. So one thing you need to do is find your niche, right? Find your niche, then choose a name that ties into that. The more precise it is, the easier it is to search. So, you know, if you're doing a coaching business, have something to do with coaching involved in the name. Don't have something to do with cats or dogs, because that's, it's pointless. You know, so be as precise as you can because people will find you easier. Make sure the group is closed. That way you have greater control. If the group is open, then anyone can post and anyone can, run amok, basically. When when the group is closed, it's far easier to control. So that's very important. When you're going through the wizard, make sure the group is closed. And like I said before, ask for emails. And another really cool feature is when people become new members, there's this awesome feature where you can just click welcome new features, and it literally bang, 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 it posts all of their handles or links to their page. So they will be welcomed with, and you can do what you want. You can get creative, right? You can add a GIF or a picture, and it literally lists all the new members that have joined, and then you just put a welcome message saying something like, thank you for joining. I hope you make yourself at home. Feel free to invite your friends or anyone that could really benefit from this group. Sign your name, press enter or send, and it literally sends out notifications. So it's really cool. So just to summarize quickly, this isn't a group, this is a community, and everyone that's going to be a part of your community will benefit in some way, and that's really important. It adds authority and credibility, and it gives you influence, right? So that's another really important thing. It will give people a sense of belonging, a spiritual home for their interests, and to allow them to network with others. So it's, like I said, it's not just about you being dog, it's about sharing and giving people the platform to be amongst it, right? And finally, it's a great place to build relationships. And, you know, I've made so many cool friends and so many cool people I've never met. I've never heard them speak. I've never seen their face or avatar, but, you know, I've made some amazing friends out of this. And, yeah, it's something that's really added value to my life in a way that I didn't think was possible. So that's the timer. Right, okay. Not too bad. Right, okay. So if you guys have got any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Okay, cool. So yeah, and if you guys are shy, I can keep on talking about some other little bits and bobs that I've learned along the way. Hi Tanya, how you doing? Awesome chat. Would you say it's worth paying for advertisement to reach a wider audience? Do you think it's best to grow organically? That's a good question. So to give you some context, I have two Facebook groups. One's called Mallorca Creates, and that's for creative people in Mallorca because I live in Spain. And the second one is Share Short Stories. And I haven't paid for any advertisement. One group is over 650 members, I believe, and the other is close to 300. And I only set it up 2 months ago. I would say in the beginning, you should grow organically. And in the beginning, you'll spend more time making content, making posts, you know, reaching out to people, inviting people. But what I found is the content you supply will have a big bearing on the growth. And you can do little things. I mean, you can just, what I do is I ask a question. I'll say to people, share with me your wins. What have you done this week? You know, what would you tell someone who's starting off, you know, the things to avoid? Or, you know, I find that having these questions, it kind of encourages people by nature to get engaged and to get amongst it. So yeah, definitely in the beginning, I would grow organically. And then if you feel like it's not really gaining traction, then possibly you can do the payment plans and but I would say definitely organically, and I feel that you get so much more value and so much more a sense of achievement when you do grow organically. And yeah, normally it's like a domino effect, and before you know it, more and more people. I mean, this week in the Mallorca Creates, I feel that I've had at least 20 new members. So, and that's just through my content, other people's engagements. And in the beginning, like I said, it will be a lonely place. But once people get involved, you can just step back and watch as the members create engagement. So it's a nice process to watch that seed just grow, and the group will get bigger. It definitely will get bigger. Hey Shade, how do you effectively manage a large group? This is a really good question, actually. So you start off on your own, and then as more and more people come, you've got a cool feature where you can add a moderator and admin, and you can have as many as you want. So what I did in the early days is that I kind of could manage it on my own. As the group was getting bigger, I gave someone that was really engaged and really like into the group and into the community. I gave them responsibility as a moderator, and they can have more controls and maybe kick people out that are spamming or people that don't belong there or people that are, shall we say, abusing an element of the community. So you can add people, and I feel that's a really powerful way to give people more investment in it as well. So yeah, I mean, one of the groups, there's myself and two other admins, and an admin has full control, right? They have full control, so they can go through all the stats, the data, they can remove people, they can add people, they can make announcements. That's a different distinction to moderators. Moderators have certain levels of control, but not as much as an admin. So yeah, as the group gets bigger, I would kind of advise you to look at more moderate. And if you feel like someone's really invested and really responsible, then by all means give them the title of admin as well. And you can do that by a few clicks. You can add people easily. So yeah. Any more questions? I've only got 3 more minutes. If no one's got any more questions, can talk about my head. Yeah, I mean, there's so many cool features. And oh, this is also a little gem I want to give you. A lot of people, when they have their own community, they try and give the people what they feel the people want. I would go a different route. If you want to know what the people in the community want, it's as simple as asking them. Just put a question out there. What do you want me to give you? What value can I add? And you can do that you can do polls. You can just do it as a question. You can do it as a GIF. But yeah, if you're not sure of what your following or the community want, just put it as a question, and people will respond. Absolutely, it could be like a like or heart or but they will engage, and you'll tend to find that certain people will comment and engage more than others. That's normal, but also don't get hung up on the idea of how many people are in the group, because you could have a group of 10,000, but actually only 100 people engage. So what you want is you want quality over quantity, and you want people engaging. So don't get don't get hung up on the idea of, oh, my group's small, I don't have, because I did in the beginning. And look, at the beginning, it's just friends, right? But over time, it just builds and builds and builds, and people will search for your community. I feel, especially at the time where we are now in the world, people are more willing to reach out and want to connect and want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So yeah, I feel this is the perfect time to create your community and create a Facebook group. And yeah, if there's anything you want to ask me, feel free to reach out. You can just put my name. I think my Facebook link is in my profile. And yeah, I'll be more than happy to go through anything that unfortunately, I could talk about this for hours, but I've only got a short time. So thank you, Tony, for inviting me to this wonderful conference. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for your questions and for listening to me. I hope this has been of value. And yeah, if you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so. So yeah, Happy New Year. I wish you guys all the best, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the talks.